Hey, good morning, everybody. Vic Faust here. We didn't do a show before the show today. We've been working with the studio, so we'll do that again tomorrow. So we're jumping right into the mix today. It is the May 23rd Tuesday podcast, canceltheshow.com, of course, live TV for your viewing pleasure right now. Good morning, everybody. Angie, Michelle, Karen jumping in right now. Always love the Facebook user. We're also going to rock and roll with a bunch of topics in just a moment, but we're welcoming everybody in today. Tabitha Hassel is off today. Eric Johnson will be coming in. Projo working the boards, and of course, Lizzie Sparks taking care of the chat lines as she does on multiple platforms every day. Canceltheshow.com. Go ahead and check out all of our original content. As you can see what we do Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on that website. We're appreciating all of the love that we're getting. You guys letting us know about content you'd like to hear, content you would like to see. Of course, we also say hi to all of you podcast listeners that pick up the show after the show on our audio platforms as well. We never want to leave you out as well just because we do something live. Okay, we also, as we welcome people in this morning, first of all, hi, Lizzie. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
We appreciate you jumping in this morning over there at Tabitha's desk. So there you go. By the way, as we look at some of the things going on, as we get our show before the show, Joe, I'll talk to you in just a little bit as you come in. We're letting Aaron Bland. Did you see that? Aaron Bland says Target went full Bud Light. Yeah, they did. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit as well. We'll get into that subject. Lots to get to. The Target issue. They branded with an alleged satanic designer, somebody who has promoted satanic situations. Target. What's up with people going full Bud Light? Bud Light also has a new interesting situation they're dealing with. We'll talk about that. Arizona Senate Majority Leader telling every county election board no more electronic voting. No more electronic voting in the state of Arizona. We'll tell you what's going on with that. School choice becoming a massive issue in the state of North Carolina. And I mean massive, so much so that the Republican-led legislature is passing legislation and they're for school choice, and the governor's trying to call a state of emergency to stop it. I mean, you can't make up some of the stuff that's going on. We'll talk about the Cardinals, their ownership group, what they're trying to do after a violent weekend in St. Louis. Is it going to be something that other cities have to do around the country, or is it just the St. Louis situation and the trouble with policing and the mayor situation and all kinds of issues with crime? Something going to happen to our phones. We'll get into that in regards to some sort of massive event that's coming up. And a New York City hotel closes down for illegal immigrants to come in. And the breakdown of the day, a Nebraska state senator. Finally, I've been sent it for 2 days. I didn't want to give her all of the attention, but we're going to give her the attention today because I've now been contacted at least 4 or 5 times with a Nebraska state senator losing it at the podium about trans. With that being said, as we welcome everybody in today, we also wanted to let everybody know, just take a little time here. Instead of going to the commercials, we're going to go to our webpage with our partners and let you know what's happening with our partners page. And we appreciate everybody jumping in. Athena Auto Protection, if you're looking for any sort of an auto warranty, you got to give them a call. You can click the link right there. You're not going to find a better auto warranty anywhere. They back it. And there's a reason why they say that they're the best. They explain that situation to make sure you're not paying more over the long haul. It may be a situation you'll find other companies, oh, well, we're cheaper this month, but then it goes on and on and on. So you're not continuing to pay for the same thing. Athena Auto Protection. Carroll House Furniture, of course, because you like nice things. The best furniture store you're going to find anywhere, hands down. Check them out. Brooke and crew getting things done. Complete Auto Body and Repair, our main show sponsor, 7 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. Climate controlled for the techs. You're not going to get paid anywhere better. Plus, we have multiple people going there A to Z when it comes to your car situation. Dr. Mahesh Bagwe, arguably one of the best orthopedic surgeons you're going to find, taking clients right now. We are trying to promote Dr. Bagwe. I think we had somebody who went in last week for everything that he does. He'll be on the show again at the end of this week or coming up next week. Of course, Kathy Hill Big Strict will be in studio tomorrow. You're not going to find anybody better with the experience that she has with any real estate questions. She proves that on a weekly basis. Green Light Dispensary shining through tomorrow with our Weed Wednesday segment. We're going to focus on their brand new store that's coming to Rock Hill tomorrow, plus give you some options when it comes to specific ailments that you have regarding natural health remedies when it comes to marijuana as opposed to the pharma industry. Of course, Pixie Dust Seasoning, always there. You can find their products anywhere. And when you buy, of course, it helps out our show. Renewal by Anderson, the best window company you're going to find. One of the best in America. If you want to improve the value of your home and save money on energy, all you have to do is get a quote. Give them a call or check in to that website right there. You can book. And when you buy, it helps out. CancelThisShow.com. Rockwood Charcoal. Jonathan Heslop will be in this week, Thursday or Friday, to talk about some of the best charcoal you're going to find anywhere. Of course, Strategic Air Services, the luxury airport hangar, which we broadcast out live from. And then you've also got the 10-8 project. We're talking about bringing them back in next week, providing all, and I mean all what they can, equipment, needs, services for first responders that their normal budget doesn't take care of. You might say, how does that happen? Well, guess what? It does. The budgets don't include everything that these first responders need. That's why the 10-8 project jumped in to try to help that out. You can donate at their website right there, or you can go through our website. You can click on the link. And of course, Wenty's. You've got some of the best wings, food, good times you're going to find around in the Chesterfield Valley. Wenty's been with us from the start. Okay, we appreciate that. We just wanted to let you guys know that when you do buy through them and let them know, it helps out our show. CancelThisShow.com. Okay, I'm Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks in studio, Eric Johnson on his way in. Tabitha has the day off. She's working a ton of movies, busy time of the year for her, so we're happy for Tabitha. She hates to be gone. Pro Joe, rocking and rolling as well on the board. Okay, everybody's jumping into it right out of the gate. Fine, we'll jump into it as well. Joe, I sent you a picture from Target, if you can pop it up. The Target, is this something that you were looking at, Lizzie, that you sent yesterday? Because I saw that Target, now keep in mind the Target history. Target has been well known to send lots of money to liberal causes, and that's fine. If you're liberal and you're a Democrat, you love it. But also, I'm just going to call what it is. I've enjoyed Target. I think it's a fantastic store. It is. I don't think you could complain with how good of a store Target has been. We're honest on this show, but we're going to cover every situation. What the hell have they done teaming with a known, quote, satanic designer?
I'm seeing it everywhere. And Bindi, who's one of our listeners, actually sent this to me. And she is like you, Vic. She absolutely loves Target. And she's so sad because when you, not only are they doing satanic things, when you walk in the store, even in the baby section, they have all this pride thing getting ready for June, which is Pride Month.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you dig at all, you see that some of the people that are paying for those items to be in there are from satanic organizations.
What kind of items did you see yet? I didn't see what.
Yeah, yes, there's items. Some of the items are like for the babies are like baby bibs. And on the surface it doesn't look bad because it says something like I'm proud of my family with a rainbow. So, that really isn't very bad when you see that. But then when it's with a display of all things talking about gay pride. And now as
for babies?
For babies.
Okay.
It's for babies and little kids who should never be talking about sex.
Is that where the gray area comes in for grooming? Because,
yes.
Because we have so many supporters of the gay lesbian community of this show. I'm just wondering what they feel or what they think about that. Is it grooming? Because it's a damn tough area when it comes to grooming, not grooming. I'd never heard of this company called ABPRALLEN. ABPRALLEN or ABPRALLEN. Am I even saying it correctly?
I think that's how you say it. And they're one of the people that are supporting Target's Pride Month. And when you Google
Well, I thought those were the designers.
Yes, it is. It is, but it's an organization that is paying for their items to be in Target. And I agree with you about the grooming. You talk to some gay people and they think, no, we're just being proud of the type of family that we've created. And then others feel that this is a form of grooming. I'm in the camp that it's a form of grooming because you don't talk about sex to children. You don't. They have to be old enough to understand what the birds and bees are. So you don't, take a little infant and talk to them about what that means. So, I mean, on the surface, it seems fine. It's just a rainbow. But when a child asks you, well, what is Pride Month? What are you going to tell them? You have to say something about the gay community, and then children want to know, what does that mean? What do you say? Just, you can have a mommy and a daddy, but it all boils down to sex. So you have to explain it. A kid in between 8 and 12 starts to understand the birds and the bees. Well, I don't think kids should be talking about that with a bib. You take a toddler sitting there giving them some little melts and little food, and you're got a gay pride bib on.
ABPRALLEN, I'd never heard of them, and I don't even know if I'm saying the name right. I did see it come up yesterday. ABPRALLEN, UK. So I'm wondering if ABPRALLEN UK is a British company. Anyway, they responded and they put this out on their own Instagram page. They said, this has been so hard to keep quiet, but we can now proudly announce that you can buy ABPRALLEN in the United States Targets. Part 1 of this includes a messenger bag, a tote, and a sweatshirt. So you can also go to their website. They also said that they had an opportunity to create something huge. Quote, this is the designer. I was given a chance to make work that would be seen by countless people, and I wanted to ensure that any young people who saw ABPRALLEN in Target would know that who they are is very important to us, meaning whatever their pronouns are, who they are, what they are. And that's what the whole Target line is about. Now, it gets a lot more, I think, attention because of what's happened with Bud Light, what's happened with a few other companies, whether forced to do something or not forced to do something. And this is one of those situations that comes out. It certainly will make people wonder. I mean, if you're walking through a Target, but I can tell you right now, if I'm walking through a Target and I didn't know this in advance, unless I stop and start analyzing the shirt, I don't see, I wouldn't know. I would not know. I'm not sure people would, Lizzie.
I started to notice it, say 7 years ago or so, because my youngest was liking Target clothes. And so she was the one that pointed it out to me. And she asked me, what does all this mean, Mom? What is, and it happened in June because it's Pride Month, but she would ask me those things. And it was really hard. How do I explain that? So at 7, I just explained, it's a rainbow and God makes rainbows. But, she wasn't dumb. She's like, Mom, come on now, there's something more to this. So I did explain it to her in layman terms, so to speak, but that shouldn't even be a conversation that we're having. And I've noticed at Target, it gets bigger every year. It started off with just 1 or 2 kid shirts. Then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And now we're all in infant items, and you see it all infused in the store, including one of the things that I thought was very odd was doggy treats. So if you see like doggy toys and doggy treats, what do? You tell your dog, oh, you're a gay little doggy, or...
Well, no, I think that's also, they're trying to hit you're already going to, I think you've already got people getting, quote, doggy treats. Now
True.
You're not going to lose them, or at least you don't think you are. So you're trying to pick up maybe another group.
That could be.
I'm very curious why Target, I mean, maybe Target doesn't feel like it's an issue, and I don't, maybe our listeners and viewers don't feel it's an issue, but if it's do I see something specific, satanic or trans for kids? I don't know. Help me see it. And I'm not backing it because I know the backstory. But what I'm saying is, when you're walking through right now, I don't know if you're going to know unless you know.
Right, unless you know. That's true. I have not seen this myself, but I did see it online. Someone told me that there's even chest binding bra type things
No, I've
in
seen
the
those.
Target. I've seen it online, but not in Target. So, I mean, there's only one use for that in today's society, and that's chest binding, as we've talked about in the show before, for young girls to start to transition.
By the way, don't forget to like the video on YouTube. Alex says that fights the censors. Alex from our marketing group. If you go to YouTube, continue to fight, because we had some issues when we first started the show. As we continue to grow, it helps us when you like. That is 100% for sure. Bendy says yes on the Target website. I'm not quite sure which. Oh, the binding bras. Is that what you're talking about for kids?
Yes.
And I guess I have to say kids, because maybe it's being promoted to boys and girls, not just, quote, girls. Melinda says Target used to be my favorite store, can barely stand it anymore. Not just for the, quote, pride stuff, other issues that are going on. But you'll see pride flags everywhere. I mean, we had somebody say it's in Schnucks. It's in other places. We also had, I can't remember who it was in our chat line, Todd. Todd says that Walmart has donated over $200 million to the local bike scene in Bentonville, Arkansas. So, quote, I'm a Walmart guy. That's where it is. Will Target take a hit like Bud Light from what we've seen right now? I don't think so. Not at all. Not unless it became a larger situation. Bendy says one shirt at Target says not a phase. I guess that's regarding, I don't know what that could be regarding.
The gay is a phase.
It could, I guess, or
that's what they're saying.
Yeah. Or the transgender situation. That's where it's kind of confusing. And we try to break it down with people as we bring it in for what's happening, what's going on, where this goes. Will Target take a hit? Todd says, sadly, it's part of our culture now, but it's not part of mine. I just don't, I don't know unless you have situations where people or companies, quote, get canceled, or people say, you know what, we're not going to spend our dollars there anymore. And then you decide what you're going to do. You don't have to go there. You don't have to spend your time and your money at these places. You can go elsewhere. And will that happen? We have certainly seen it with Bud Light. And if anybody thinks Bud Light has come out of their situation, they're not. You know what Bud Light's having to do right now? Bud Light is now, because they feel so bad because their product sucks in the American community right now, they're buying back beer from their wholesalers who can't sell the stuff. That's right. They can't sell it.
They just need to apologize already.
And Bud Light is all in on they refuse to apologize, and they're paying the price. I mean, it would have been so easy to just listen. We messed up.
The disturbing thing is somehow it's worth it to them.
Right. Somehow it's worth it to them. It is. You know, back when Target started doing the bathroom incident, you know what, I don't know, 8-10 years ago, where it became such a big issue to whether you can go into the boys' bathroom, the girls' bathroom, unisex. It was this whole debacle. And so my daughter, knowing I'm a conservative mama, she looked at me and she said, so Mom, I guess we can't go to Target anymore. And my daughter, Hope, loves Target. And I told her I'm conflicted, because also as a capitalist, and I want my area to be thriving, I don't want people not to go to the stores. So then all of a sudden we have all these vacant buildings and we look like some inner cities across the United States. So I really am conflicted. I do think you should put your money behind what you believe in. But if everybody boycotts everything, I mean, so I'm just so conflicted by it, because I don't want vacant buildings either. That's awful.
Paul says there is an apology out there finally. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
We have a great, and I mean a great group of viewers and people who comment on the show live. For our listeners who are listening to the podcast, if we get it, we'll certainly put that on here for you. With that being said, Tammy jumped in and she's like, listen, I tried to find items online when I searched chest binding. 3-ring binders came up. Yeah, I put my hand over my face too. I get it. She said she did find some other clothing items by Tomboy X, but nothing that I found was for children. I'm sure it's all there. I just couldn't find a lot of items. So sad. I appreciate you sharing that. And David Sparks says the normalization of products creates a mindset, and a push towards a degradation of society. And that's where the little poison comes in with things that, oh, well, it's all right. It's fine. And if there is any way that somebody can find the apology, because I didn't find, or I haven't seen an official apology from Anheuser-Busch on Bud Light speaking to the quote ad that they first did. And in some senses, I felt like they made it worse by the CEO. I'm sure he's a super intelligent guy, far more intelligent than myself, but his initial response was as bad as it could have been. On a scale of 0 to 10, it was a -1. It couldn't have been any worse. Oh, there's nothing to see here. Look at our Clydesdales. And I felt like that kind of perpetuated an even stronger response because Bud Light tried to we're just going to push it through. So now they, despite losing billions of dollars, despite, as of last week, losing about 26% market share, which is just incredible for a company that large. Now they're having to buy back beer from wholesalers who say, we can't do it. And that is just to get the situation into a maybe it's like, listen, we're trying. We're sorry, wholesalers. We're sorry this is causing you a problem. And then if Anheuser-Busch or Bud Light loses their I'm trying to remember their number one placement in stores is a word for it. I can't remember it. I said it last week. Where you go into stores, Anheuser-Busch products have always been placed in the best spots, number one. There's word that they're losing that now to other products.
I think they call that an action alley.
Yeah, there's another word too
okay.
that I said last week, and I can't remember what it is right now.
They would often get the end caps, and now you see that they're pushed back. Nobody's buying it. And Joe, I agree with you. What is their end game? If they know they're losing the money and they've not made an apology or even thrown the girl guy and, under the bus, what's their end game? Why is this okay?
Well, Kathy says the reality is that all of these large chain stores, Target, Budweiser, etc., are being forced into this with the use of ESG scores. We've talked about that as well. And who cares if they sell clothing for gays to celebrate Pride Month? I personally think we are going down a rabbit hole with this issue, like abortion. I don't know what you mean by that, going down a rabbit hole. Anyway, the fact that I don't know if you think it's all right or not all right. I think it was quite clear with Dylan Mulvaney and that whole situation, who supports kids' transgender surgeries and so forth. And why are you jumping out and pushing a product as opposed to just being who you are? Don't go overboard to promote something. Yes, you may have some, quote, pressure put on you, but you find out who the companies are, who the real ones are, and then you go from there. ESG is a real thing, but we'll see. Target, another interesting situation. We'll see. I don't think that Target's going to take a hit. Kathy says we're being distracted with these issues while they're destroying our country. Yeah, but at the same point in time, Kathy, you know what? This is an issue that is destroying our country at the same point in time.
It's part of it. It's part of destroying.
There's a big piece. There's a big circle, and that's another.
What people need to realize is this isn't about the trans community. This is about trans projecting themselves onto children.
It's all about the kids. That's exactly right. If these items were being sold to adults, we wouldn't even be talking about it. They're starting now all the way to babies and bibs. That's my issue with it.
The other issue is there a bigger, quote, agenda when it comes to pedophilia? Is it a normalization over 5 to 10 years, as we've spoken about before? Right now, it's like, oh, nothing's going to happen with that. Let's go on to something else. But then, 2 days later, 10 days later, a year later, 5 years later, you're like, oh my God, look where we've come. 10 years later, we would never think about this. Now look what's happened to our society as we don't really care about things. And how many times are you in your daily life right now talking to people? Oh my God, just like everybody's so mean now. Our society has changed. It's just not like it used to be. And yet there's people out there who will also say, oh, well, I like this. This is great. I like this changing of America. Really? Okay. So once again, and Mary Jo says, no one buying AB products. The shelves are full. Yeah, it makes sense. Americans have to speak. If it's something you don't like, then go show them and tell them where you are. Todd says, I think Chick-fil-A is the only good business left. I can survive on it. You know what? I probably could too, Todd.
I could too, and I always want it the most on a Sunday.
Uh,
Always.
yeah. So we had to bring it up. What was happening with this whole Target situation? Is it a problem? Is it not? Is it grooming for some sort of situation? What's the infatuation over trans everywhere, to the point where you have a Nebraska state senator losing her absolute mind, giving a speech at a podium, having a massive meltdown, unprovoked, but showing herself to do this. I'm sure you've seen this. I've been begged for 2 days. Please show it. Please show it. Please show it.
Well, I want to warn everybody that I can't control the volume, and this is very annoying.
So we give you the heads up. If you need to turn your volume down, here you go. Here is a Nebraska state senator. I'm trying to find her name right now. Is that listed on the page there?
It's Michaela Cavanaugh.
Michaela Cavanaugh. Check this out.
Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. You matter. You matter.
Man, she's spitting all kinds of, I mean, there's all kinds of information, useful information there.
There really is, that she needs trans people. She does. But you know what that is? I saw that
Look
too.
at me. I'm important.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes.
Very well stated, Kevin.
Yes. She just thinks she is just it on a stick, or it's her mental illness coming out. I don't know. That is crazy, because who gets up and does that?
I think
Kooky people. Oh, come on, Vic. You know they're a kook.
I think I agree. I think I agree with Aaron. She needs an exorcism. There was something evil. No, seriously. There was something evil about that.
Yes. Yes.
Unhinged evil. Unprovoked evil.
Yes.
And the first time I saw that, I was like, is that on a loop?
Yeah,
and I was
she
like,
kept saying it over and over and over.
I was like, hell no, she's not on a loop.
Nope.
Eric, could you do that for us? Eric's in here. Could you stand there and go, we need trans people? Can you do that for us?
No.
Trans people.
Jeff says we need to have a trans island, a place for all trans.
Trans island?
Genevieve.
I would hang out there.
Genevieve. PRL starring this Friday on Trans Island.
Over there every Saturday night.
Genevieve says, from a serious standpoint, she needs mental help. And I think
she does.
I think from a more serious standpoint, that is an elected official in the state of Nebraska.
And Nebraska. We're not talking about Delaware. That's Nebraska.
Bendy says possessed, maybe mentally ill, maybe evil. Doubt that. We'll see. But anyway, Aaron says, AK Epstein Island.
You know that, you know what? I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today, but you know that I feel that all of this trans stuff and marketing and grooming to children is for the normalization of this. And it goes to the top officials.
Yes.
And it wraps up Epstein Island. That is what this is.
Yeah,
that's the bigger picture.
Promote who you want, go to the stores that you want, but you don't have to lose. I mean, you did not help your cause by doing that. That's for sure. Ricardo Montana welcomes you to Trans Island. Z-plane from Bendy.
I mean, if it was all adults, I guess it would be kind of fun.
There you go.
That's it. Right. Adults can do that.
Right.
It's kids. Leave them alone.
Yeah. Life is a smorgasbord. If you want to go to Trans Island one night,
oh my God,
you want to go to Hairband Island, that would be kind of fun.
Hairband
Island would be a lot of fun.
Oh my God,
you could go to Willy Wonka Land.
Could you go to Candy Park?
Yeah, Candy Park.
You could go over to grunge resorts. and then experience a little, old Nirvana. I mean, your social preference has nothing to do with me. I swear to God, that's the problem here. Is I just do not get too lit up about transsexual anything. Yeah, I've seen about 1 billion of. You live in Seattle for 10 years and see how many transactions.
Oh, yeah, I
you
bet
see.
you did.
But when you bring the kids into it, what is that? What did that congressman lady say? She goes, "We love trans people."
We love
Trans people.
We-
Okay.
Whatever it was,
We
it's like
need trans
Yeah.
people. We need trans.
I don't know of any congressperson in that legislature or whatever was saying trans people are bad. It was like saying you cannot feed your damn kids beer until they're 21. And then a congressperson going, kids love beer. Kids love beer. Kids love beer. Kids love beer. That's exactly the same thing.
Yes, it is.
Kids love tattoos. Kids love tattoos.
I know here
It's so stupid.
here
That's
in
the
St.
thing.
Louis,
You are conflating two problems.
You're right.
If you
on.
like a beer and you're 21, have fun. We'll go down to the east side and have a beer. Watch some strippers, all right? That's what you want to do? Knock yourself out.
Right, that was one
But
big temper tantrum.
But if you're 13 years old, keep the damn scalpels away from the penises. What?
I know that. I agree with you as far as keep scalpels away from the penis.
Yes.
Now, I think that that this might be about some legislature, because I know here in St. Louis,
Yeah.
It is. That's exactly what it
there's
was
a
about.
lot that they're doing, even at the Grove, which is, a popular place for trans people and gay people to hang.
Okay.
They're passing legislatures where they can't do drag shows and stuff anymore.
Well, that's the same
That's
thing.
what they're protesting.
It's the same thing. I mean, I'm
Well, they're
sorry
leaving
to
the
say,
kids out of it.
you're
though. They're leaving
sexualizing
the
a
kids out of
child.
it. I mean, it's at the Grove. There's no kids.
There's no, you know what? If you go,
That's the gray area.
if you go
It
to
is
the
a gray area.
Grove, if you go to the Grove and you have a bunch of 45-year-old guys with wigs, wait a minute, that's PRO.
And
If you
makeup.
see a bunch of
Heavy
45-year-old
eyeliner.
heavy eyeliner, and you're having a nice time, there's no cops going to come and take over your show. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
No.
It's just not going to happen. I've been to
I don't
enough
think
of these.
so either, but I think the
burlesque
point
shows
is that
happen
the
all the time.
legislature's in place. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what they're kind of mad about. I'm not trying to stick up for
No, we
like
need every.
them
That's what the show's
diddling
about.
kids.
We need every point.
I don't care about the late night fun with the Grove. I'm talking
right.
about
well,
the
that's
Parkway
what,
Central.
I think that's what a lot of the protests and a lot of like people like
The
this
Well,
problem
then
is-
sit down and hash out the semantics of what you're talking about.
Right.
Then
The problem
actually-
is the subjects
Right.
bleed over
And-
into.
Yeah.
And
You have
she
certain
had no
issues.
useful
It's
information.
Tuesday and you guys got me lit up like this already.
We
What's wrong
like
with
you
you?
lit up like a Roman
What's the matter
candle,
with you
Eric.
guys?
You're better.
Love it.
What's the matter with you guys?
I
We
just
were
threw
hoping
some
you'd come
gas
in and
on
throw a temper tantrum just like that girl did. Just throwing a big old one. That would have been great.
It's
We
unbelievable.
need PRL. We need
PRL. No, we don't.
Aaron
I'm
says,
sorry.
but you don't market the burlesque show to a toddler.
Exactly.
And that's where
Right.
people get upset because the
This-
drag shows were over here at concert venues.
These are
They're
easy-
in libraries, in schools, and we've shown you those videos, and that's where people like
the
whoa, whoa,
real
whoa, whoa, whoa.
stupidity
Stop,
of all
stop,
this.
stop it.
The real stupidity of all this is it's so simple to fix. The real dumbness of our culture is the audacity of keeping certain things from minors, right?
Yes.
That's the audacity. You can't drink. You can't get a tattoo if you're before 18 without parental supervision in some
Mhm.
places. There's a whole myriad of things that we do for kids to protect them until they have a of mind to do
Right.
the right thing. You cannot date an 8-year-old if you're 21. We protect them, correct?
Correct.
Why does this fall in any different bucket?
It shouldn't.
It's all
Why does-
political.
It's so simple to fix
should.
this. If you are
It is.
21 years old, right, and you want to go start chopping body parts off,
Go ahead.
I can't wait to see the new you.
Right.
Even then, they say that the brain isn't fully developed until
Till
the age of
25.
23 or 25, between
25.
23
Yeah.
and 25, depending on if you're
Yeah.
male or female. So, I mean, even 18 might be jumping the gun a little.
But these issues
Yeah.
become massive issues because then you have Republicans and Democrats voting on them, not only at the state level, but the national level as well. What's right? What's wrong? We're trying to get votes. We're trying not to upset people. We're also trying to be inclusive to a point.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
you have to take sides. You have to do this. You have to do that. Where we start here is not where we are 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now.
And I tell you what, if there was
Ask
some
politicians how
if there
they
was
feel
some
about this.
kind
It's
of
difficult.
if there was some
For
kind
some.
of a law that said, I'm sorry, you live in the United States, you cannot have gendered surgery after 21, I would be on the other side of the fence. I'd be going,
100%.
I mean, what are you talking about? What do you mean no, we can't do that in this country. Bull crap. This is the United States. Do whatever the hell you want to do. But if you're a child, we take care of you until you get to a certain age, and then we send you on your way. You know what I mean?
I do. I do.
100%.
That's correct.
That's what birds do. They nurture their eggs. They see them hatch. The eggs, they then get there. I watched a couple of birds in a bird's nest the other day. They stared at the nest for 2 days to make sure that they were going to fly away. And once those birds were gone,
2 days.
Once those birds were gone, parents were gone. It's like, you left the nest. Bye. You're welcome.
I have a cardinal that continues to fly into my garage.
That's because it's retarded.
Oh my, Eric. Eric.
Or it's the sign of a dead loved one.
Eric.
I've heard that.
What? A cardinal's what?
I've heard that that's a sign of a dead loved one if it keeps hanging around.
No.
I'm not saying
they do
it's
say
true,
that.
Why
but
is
they
it?
do say that,
Here-
don't they? I don't know. if
Here's the
it's
deal.
true,
Don't
but-
listen to that. That's ridiculous. There are animals can have mental issues just like human beings. can
How
have
do you
mental
know
issues.
this, Eric?
Because it's a living organism. That's how I know it.
Yeah, Eric.
Do you think that humans have the only cognitive problems on the planet, or do you think maybe there's a lion somewhere in Africa that has a cognitive disability?
Unfortunately, I think you're right because I had a Shih Tzu that
Yeah.
my doctor,
Watch your mouth.
not my doctor, my vet said had behavior disorders. So
Yeah.
you're right. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's
They do. I've seen them. They're cute as hell.
Yeah.
They're cute as hell. I would imagine that now we went way down a weird path, but I'll bet there's animals that have autism. I wonder if
Okay.
I wonder.
Okay.
I do. I wonder if animals
we've all
can get
had- okay.
Asperger's.
Only if they eat human food.
Oh my God.
Okay.
right.
Well,
and
that's
and
true.
certain
Oh my
kinds
God,
of
oh my
dog food has bad things in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen enough dogs that were
Eric, you're the
cross-eyed.
bird. You may be the bird.
I have seen it.
You're the bird whisperer, huh?
Well, I don't think that
Talking
any
from the
bird.
man that bought a goat.
I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any bird that wants
You
to
did
fly
buy
in
a
the
goat.
side of a window. Or
No, I don't know. It because it's set up. Maybe I always thought because my garage faces a line of trees that maybe it was some refuge in my garage. If it's open during the day, they'll fly in, and then
Okay.
it wouldn't leave. So I was like,
It's
What
got
the
mental problems. That's what it is. Give it some Prozac or some Adderall. It'll be.
oh
fine.
yeah, Jeannie says maybe there's a nest in there, Vic. I'll have to get up and look up top in that. Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, is that a benched cardinal, Vic? Ha, ha, ha,
Hmm.
I guess.
Get it?
Bendy King
Waka
says
waka.
me too. Okay. Oh, you just did it. You just did it.
Okay. You know
Kimberly
what?
says, is this Paranormal Tuesday? No, but we have some interesting stuff coming up this Friday that we'll get into as well. Okay, Eric, a story just for you. Major story. By the way, share, like, subscribe our shows. Go to Rumble, YouTube, like what we're doing. It helps us from that standpoint as well. And of course, you can always catch us at cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Eric Johnson. He's here. Lizzie Sparks here. She's at Tabitha's spot today. Tabitha, apparently the movie industry is just cooking right now, because Tabitha couldn't be here. She's had a ton of work. I mean, a ton of work. And Projo running the boards over there. In a story that was designed just for Eric, and it's all about school choice. Okay, Republicans, Democrats, going to battle over so many damn things. The Democratic North Carolina governor, Roy Cooper, who barely won, by the way, decided to declare a state of emergency
Mhm.
yesterday. It was to stop a school choice bill from passing the state legislature. The state legislature is Republican dominated right
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
So he released a video and said that he's declaring a state emergency because if he doesn't, public education as they know it in the state of North Carolina will be no more. Here's why. Is the public education so bad in the state that Republicans feel like school choice should be getting the money? School choice should at least be given as an opportunity to parents for their opportunity for kids to go check that out.
Yeah.
He ripped this as saying that school choice means you don't care about public schools in North Carolina. He says it's time for people to, quote, take action against the Republicans who are trying to, quote, push school choice. Now, school choice on the other hand said the Democrats in this state and public school is losing control over their minds of other people's children. Good, cry harder at Roy Cooper. Roy Cooper said that.
Wow.
It says school choice advocate Corey DeAngelis wrote, they're losing control over the minds of other people's children.
Yes.
Good. Cry harder. Because North Carolina is saying they don't want kids to have another choice when it comes to the school.
Not all of North Carolina. If you're a parent and you've been put into critical race theory land and you've been put into transgender land and furry land and Furby land, and you're done with it. And you're like, son, come over here. Can you tell me what the square root of 3 or 9 is? You can't, but you can tell me about critical race theory. Dear, we need to have a talk. Come in here. Yeah, Junior can't tell me what the hell square root of 9 is, but he wants to give me an hour-long PowerPoint presentation on CRT. That's when you have a problem. That's when school choice becomes very, very important, because you only have one shot at getting your kid the education it needs before he is off to college, or he is off to trade school, or he's off to the army, or whatever it is. And now school choice is the only way you save the kids. I'm sorry. But you know why? And you know what? It's going to be good for public education as well. You know why?
Yeah, I know why.
Because you have choice.
Competition.
Yeah,
and so
we
when
need that competition to make the public schools better.
So when you're watching your favorite episode of MASH at 6:00 in the afternoon, and there's a commercial that says, come join us at St. Charles Independent School System. We're bring your money here. We're going to teach your kid how to accelerate in the sciences and accelerate in English and accelerate blah, 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 blah. And that mom and that dad are watching that MASH episode going, we got to give these guys a call. We got to take our voucher over to the St. Charles Accelerated Learning Center, or whatever you're going to call it. You're going to have more kids want to go there than you are to Francis Howell.
Maybe, as long as they can do the activities and the sports side.
Is any kid, mom and dad want their kid left behind?
Most don't.
And that's the problem with your idea, though, is a lot of these schools are going to turn like with a private school kind of mentality, and they're only going to pick and choose what students they let in their school.
Well, then you have to put regulations together. If you're going to open it up, you got to open it up. That's where discrimination can come back in.
Exactly.
But you got to be smart too. You got to test to get into certain places. That's the thing. You cannot hold other kids back academically. You can't have the participation trophies awards in school. You can't.
Then you got the parents who think that all kids should have equal rights, even the ones that have a lesser advantage.
Sucks to be you. We live in in reality.
Right.
If you want your kid to understand, and I never did, I'm dumb as hell. If you want your kid to understand calculus on a third level, you better get a tutor. You better do the work, and you better figure out, what you're doing, because your kid's going to a Parkway school system, and we have to hear on Channel 2 News that there's a CRT or a transgender rally of some sort. Well, they're not learning advanced string theory, and they're not learning, quantum physics over there. It's a social group.
It is. And the only problem
I speak
with
this
school
just from
choice,
reality. I'm not speaking as
we have heard from an expert on school choice on this podcast that said, be careful what you wish for, though, with school choice. Yes, you may feel like it's great, but once again, when you go to school choice, guess what? School choice is run by another group of people that are going to push what they want, which doesn't always mean that it's going to be something that you like. Because, school choice, all this money's going over here. That doesn't mean you're going to get exactly what you want.
Well, Vic, I think I disagree with you.
Okay.
I disagree with that guy, because I think that when you are not unionized, there's the key word.
Yeah.
When you don't have...
Who decides what they teach, though?
When you don't have the state can still do that. They can still have standards. I don't know how. You'd have to get Governor Parson on the air and say, how does the Missouri standards work? And then you'd have to say, this is your framework of how to put together an independent school, a free school. And then you would have to build those standards and say, we're going to not just meet these standards, we're going to surpass these standards. And that's the key to this whole thing, is you would have to develop these. This is the low bar. If you come to this school, you have to go over this bar.
No, I agree. We just don't know what school choice is yet. Once again, we don't know what it would look
That's why we got to get going.
Now you could create
we got to get going.
I've reached out. What I do find that this is interesting. St. Mary's Boys Catholic School in the St. Louis area. We're trying to get them on for next week. They just put this out. Mike England, their school principal, has now put in the very first school, at least in the state of Missouri, for something like this, where at least when it comes to the private school industry, apprenticeships, and I mean all kinds of apprenticeships, where you go to that Catholic school where you can get, quote, the Catholic education that you're looking for, but you're going to learn the trade. And that is your, quote, high school degree. I think it's fascinating.
I do too.
I was happy to hear this. This is a school that is close to drying up. They got funding to last for at least another year to 2 years. And so what do? You have to evolve with the times.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're going to be offered all these career options, and they're building these trades. It's a pre-apprenticeship program, and it's going to be run by the Missouri Works Institute, a nonprofit organization sponsored and supported by the Missouri AFL-CIO. So they teach, they're nationally recognized with North America's building trades. And you want to talk about the trades that you can learn? Some of the participating union training programs, this is just in the St. Louis area, but it could be applied anywhere in the country. Bricklayers, Local 1 Joint Apprenticeship Training Program. The Carpenters Regional Council Apprenticeship Program.
Wow.
Construction craft laborers. International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW. The Iron Workers. Operating Engineers, Local 513. The Plumbers and Pipe Fitters. Sheet Metal Workers. Cement Masons Joint Apprenticeship.
Yes.
And Floor Layers.
Wow.
That is amazing,
Vic,
to me,
we're on
that St.
something.
Mary's is doing this, or at least
Call them.
offering. I already did.
Well, and
Mike
that-
England's their principal. I reached out to him. I saw the article early this morning.
Genius.
I am so glad to hear that, because when I heard that St. Mary's was kind of pulling away from the archdiocese, which is good or it's bad, depending on which way you look at it, I would thought they were going to go on the way of Barrett Haven or Barrett Academy.
What's that? For people don't know.
That is a Catholic high school that was in the St. Charles County area, moved into St. Louis area because they lost their building, and they're closing after this year because they never kept their funding up.
Okay.
And they're down to 20 children.
Okay.
So I'm glad to hear that St. Mary's has a plan where I don't think Barrett Haven did. Their plan was just to get away from the archdiocese.
Yeah, I think that was different.
Yes.
Jill, our new saleswoman, said we had a program like that at St. Dominic. I don't know specifically what that program is, or
well, it's like the old MAG programs. Remember the old MAG? The old
oh yeah, we did kind of shop.
It's very
too.
similar to that. Back in this, I was this close to going to a MAG school down in the city because they had a music program, and I wanted to do that. I wanted to do it so bad. They taught other things, but it was kind of the same thing. You paid for it yourself, obviously. I think that's such a great idea. Could you imagine being 14 years old, starting your trade, learning, then becoming a journeyman and whatever Vic just said, and then by the time you're 21, you have $100,000 a year job?
Well, they're going to start this program first semester next school year, and it's going to count towards 2 consecutive elective classes.
Really?
That consist of 120 hours. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Here's what it is, though. And Jill, I just wanted to let you know, I know you said that it's not the same program. It may be something similar. But according to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the labortribune.com, this is the first and only program of its kind for high school students in the entire state of Missouri.
I hope it succeeds, man. And we'll know fast if it succeeds.
I mean, I've never heard of I mean, you've got every trade industry getting involved, trying to help kids get started in this. So whoever came up with that idea to do it in this manner and on this magnitude, kudos to you. Massively needed. And St. Mary's, by the way, as I was saying, the school folded about a year and a half ago. They were done. They were able to get some funding to last for about another year.
Okay.
And now you bring in a program like this.
Yes.
This
is such a positive topic.
It is. And
don't you feel good?
And you know where it is, Eric? Don't you? You know where it is?
I don't.
City of St. Louis.
It's South St. Louis.
South St. Louis.
Okay. Hey, you know what? That's even better.
I love it.
Put one in North St. Louis while you're at it.
Love it.
Jeez. I'm a
great idea.
If for anybody that listens to this show that thinks that we don't have the best interest of St. Louis at heart, this segment should prove it to you. You put one of these programs in South St. Louis and it succeeds within that area, and then you do this in North St. Louis, and then it succeeds in that area.
Yes. It could change.
We have a game-changing seed that we're putting in these urban areas. I'm telling you, if our mayor if Mayor Tashara Jones is not careful, she could be a success
Right,
if she
she's
does
not
stuff like
careful.
this.
Yes. Yes, she could.
Man, she just needs to get rid of crime and do this
Well-
the school choice thing. And man, I'm in.
Well, see, this is this is, and the reason we talk about it and why it lines up with what's happening in North Carolina, it's giving kids an opportunity, and kids don't know. Let's just put it this way: a lot of times you don't know at 14 years of age what you're going to do.
Who cares, Vic?
But
Vic,
this is there for them to utilize once they're there.
Vic,
And maybe
Vic,
there's something with the
Vic.
research that they've done with graduates that they need.
How many people from our era that went to college don't use 1 ounce of what they studied?
Well,
yeah, I'm not
Seriously, right?
But guys, here's another. This is a great question. Facebook user says, "Why get a trade degree or why get all that trade education when AI is going to take over anyway?"
AI is not going to take over construction. AI is not going to take over engineering. AI is not going to take over plumbing or electrical work or working on jet engines as an AP mechanic. It's not going to take. We can go through a myriad of things that you thought Google was going to take away. Well, guess what? Google hasn't taken away much of anything.
Well, Bill Gates says that AI is going to take away Google. He's not happy about it.
Maybe.
That could happen.
Maybe. And unless you have a bunch of, and you probably know this better than anybody else, unless you have a bunch of silicone droids that look human, that are able to pick things up and work in real time with their hands, there's a lot of trades that are not in any jeoperdy. If you want to become a ditch digger over at a cemetery, that's going to be
maybe a ditch digger, but I do feel as if AI will take over. Well,
then the trade will be management of AI services.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay, there's a new trade for you.
Then you just change it up.
Yeah, don't be so pessimistic. We have the fortune of Tabitha not being here today. We can be positive.
Stop it.
We can be positive and run forward.
Eric's joking. He's smiling.
Well, it's a smirky smile, but yes, I am just joking.
Rob, but here's the problem. And this is life. Every time there's an action, there's always a reaction, and you have to find how you're going to manage when the wave hits and the ripples go. Robert says we had Focus Hope in Detroit. When I worked there for 11 years, I remember Focus Hope. What eventually happened, though, as Robert says, the corporations donated free hardware and software and then took sales away from the area businesses because you can't compete against free. It all fell down because it morphed into a biz, not an educational opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
This is a high school, though, too. We'll say I still like it, Robert. I still think it's a great idea.
I'll tell you another story. Let's say I'm a 14-year-old kid and I go, Mom, I don't understand this whole electrical thing, but they get involved in it. They get out of whatever high school it is and they have their journeyman in whatever they're doing. And now they're in the union. Most people that go into that art field are in the union. There's a friend of mine that was, I should say his name, but I'm not going to. But I might say his name later. He basically was a union plumber. And I think you guys might even know this guy. He makes way more money by himself just writing contracts off Angie's List than he ever did in the union. So you never are in any jeopardy with Vic's idea. You don't have to know calculus. You don't have to know how to dangle your participles. You don't know how. You don't know.
Nothing worse than a dangle participle.
No, hell no. You do not need to know what the Pythagorean theorem is. But if you know how to make someone's toilet not, clog up, you could make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, you could. Aaron wanted to follow up with that. He's like, people, check out Boston Dynamics. The humanoid robots are coming. And the humanoid robots are trained, as Eric just said, to do those specific types of jobs. Hammering, unclogging, carpet laying, pipe fitters, welding. That's scary. It is scary. How long away is that? I don't know.
They have automated systems at GM, robots. They basically build the cars for you with the arms, and they still have people working over there. They still have, the more cars you sell, the more people you need to hire. It's more efficient. It's better. The cars come out better. There's not the human error isn't involved in a lot of stuff. So these things are not negative things necessarily, right? Unless one of these humanoid Boston, mechanic or whatever it is, come out and aim a gun at you. You can use them as a tool. It's basically your new hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There was a day when we weren't using hammers to put nails into walls. We were using rocks, and someone invented a damn There was a day, and then we found out, oh my God, we can take this little piece of iron and smash. Oh, look, there's a hammer.
Jeff says, hey guys, I use a lot of robots right now. AI just around the corner.
It's right here. Use it to your advantage, fool.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, be an early adopter of it. Don't be scared of it. Just use it.
I could not agree with you anymore. By the way, this is canceltheshow.com. I'm Vic Faust, Eric Johnson, Lizzie Sparks running the chat line and hosting. Tabitha is busy working with her movies today. Projo on the board, making sure that we look and sound as good as we possibly can. We did have some breaking news. We'll break down the story a little more. We'll take a quick break now as we show you our partners, and please check out our partners. Please check out our partners. If you're doing anything with any sort of purchases regarding them, if you get a chance, use them. If it makes sense, let them know. Canceltheshow.com is where you heard about them, or go to our website and click on those links. That's why we have a direct link to them. But we have a guy in DC who's allegedly from Chesterfield who ran into the barriers right across the street from the White House. He's apparently 19-year-old with a Nazi flag. Of course, he's from Chesterfield. It all makes sense.
Yeah. That's crazy.
We'll get into that when we come back. Plus, Arizona's Senate Majority Leader sending information to every county election officer saying no electronic voting. Now, the governor, Katie Hobbs, is trying to stop it. Why would Katie Hobbs be trying to stop that?
Katie, what's up, dog?
And that's in the midst of Carrie Lake losing her final lawsuit. Okay. So regardless of what you think happened, didn't happen, all that's going on in the state of Arizona. Another story for Eric. Will the St. Louis Cardinals be the, quote, example for other ownership groups if they have the same kind of situations? After a weekend of violence, the Cardinals ownership group says, we will not sit back and let the crime happen. We got to do something. So they're putting, quote, security measures in place that nobody's going to know about.
No one's going to know about.
We'll show you the hotel in New York that's taking illegal immigrants. They've shut down for the public. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. All that's still coming up in our second hour.
Crazy stuff
going nuts.
Canceltheshow.com. We'll be back in just a couple minutes after our break. Share the show, we appreciate it. Right after this.
House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during our solid wood sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local high school athletes, college athletes, weekend warriors, injured workers, and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com. That's DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.
Jonathan, what does make Rockwood so special?
Rockwood, we carbonize it higher than anybody else does. So we're cooking out everything that produces ash, smoke, anything like that. It gives you a lot more control over the temperature, a lot more control over the fire, and it's 100% Missouri product.
All right, where can people get it?
It's at 100-plus locations around St. Louis, any Deerberg, Straub's, meat markets, wine and cheese stores, hardware stores, you name it, we're around St. Louis. Just check the website.
And good charcoal should be able to break apart in your hands like
absolutely,
does,
yeah.
Right?
If you can't break it apart by hand, it's not charcoal yet. It's still wood. They didn't do the job, so make sure it can break apart by hand.
All right, get your Rockwood charcoal. Let's talk roofs. Voted best roofing pro in all of St. Charles County, RJR and Associates Roofing has been protecting people from the chaotic Missouri weather for over 20 years. Business and homeowners, whether you need to patch a leaky roof or it's just time for a completely new one, RJR has got you covered. Just call our buddy Ron today at 314-852-5074. That's 314-852-5074.
Marco, wait, What, no response? Hi, I'm Curtis Sparks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
Hey guys, welcome back into cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust, Eric Johnson here. Tabitha has the day off. Lizzie Sparks in studio along with Projo, taking care of everything from a technical standpoint. All right, guys, it is Cancel This. Remember to check out all of those partners you just saw at cancelthisshow.com, and a special thanks to Complete Auto Body Repair. Complete Auto Body Repair. Curtis Sparks is his name. Check him out. Don't think you're going to be disappointed. From A to Z, they do everything on your vehicle. Also, they're looking for technicians. They have 7 climate-controlled facilities throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area, and they also pay top dollar. Give them a call. Check them out. Let them know you heard about it from cancelthisshow.com. We appreciate everything that you got going on. Okay, another big topic. We just talked about it. Okay, I just was given it was an update from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. A Chesterfield man was the driver of a U-Haul truck that crashed into a security barrier near the White House. This was breaking news, came out about 30 minutes ago. They believe that he did this intentionally with a U-Haul truck. It's a security barrier at the park across from the White House. He's been identified as a 19-year-old Chesterfield resident. I'm going to try to say his name correctly here. Sai, S-A-I, Varsith Kandula. Sai Varsith Kandula, a 19-year-old from Chesterfield. The U.S. Park police said that he was arrested on multiple charges, including threatening to kill, kidnap, or inflict harm on the president, the vice president, a member of their family, assault with a dangerous weapon, reckless driving, destruction of federal property, and trespassing. So nobody was injured in the crash. It was him by himself driving into the security barrier. It happened there at Lafayette Square for people who understand the DC area. So they say he intentionally struck the security barriers. So anyway, it has a lot of ooh-ah to it because it's a Chesterfield, Missouri guy.
It does, and it's the U-Haul and
that I
all
have,
of it.
Whatever. I don't know. It doesn't ring big for me.
It used to.
Right.
If
Isn't
this
that
was
sad? It used to be a big deal. Now it's like, and another day,
if this was
U-Haul.
If this was 1995 and a U-Haul was trying to get through to get President Clinton, it would be an international story. I remember if the little things like this meant a lot back in the day, you didn't go about your day. It was like Lester Holt, breaking news, U-Haul trying to bust through to get to Clinton or whatever it was. They would have interview, a man on the street. They would have 60 Minutes. Team would be out there.
Right.
Now it's just like, anyway, back to
also.
Right. And we don't believe half of the story.
This Sai Kandula was also allegedly carrying a Nazi flag.
Of course he was.
Trying to go after, quote, the president. I don't know what to make of the story. I'm sorry. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, something doesn't make sense, as usual.
I don't think it's a big deal because you can't just get into the White House. You can't break through security.
I'm wondering if some of this stuff is just theater. It's like, okay.
I think it is.
At 11 o'clock, I need you to turn in here, smash it. We'll run you out of there. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Wonder.
It just makes you say,
distractions.
Yes, we need a new media narrative real quick. Hey, come here, kid. You know how to drive a U-Haul? Not really. Oh, even better.
Yeah. And you're from that Midwest state. Let's bring you on with your Nazi flag.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad that we're even talking about that? We don't even believe it.
Well, it's not that we don't believe. Exactly right. It's like it's really a nothing burger story because you can't smash through those defenses over there. It's not going to happen. And basically all you have to do is have a couple of, patrol guys walk up and say, hey, can you get out of the U-Haul, please? Thanks. What are you doing? I'm trying to get to the president.
That name
Well, who
didn't
isn't?
sound like a very Nazi name either.
No, I'm afraid we are living in an era, Vic, and this is because of Vic and his colleagues. We're living in the Don't Cry Wolf.
My only colleagues are you, Tabitha,
your
Joe,
old
and
colleagues.
Lizzie.
The boy who cried wolf. We're in the era of boy who cried wolf. Chicken Little, the sky is falling.
Yes.
You are now in this weird era of I don't believe anything you say, NBC.
Right.
I'll watch it. I'm sure you'll have some
I'm
weird
glad you have gotten to this point.
Hey, I'm just going to go listen to my news. My news is News Nation. I'm going to go listen to my news. It's CNN. We are living in the boy who cried wolf news, and someone has to fix it. Someone has to. They're not going to fix it fast. It will take years. They'll go, hey, there's actually a news source out here that is truthful. Damn, it's not the USA Today. It's not the Post-Dispatch. It's not the Times. It's not Fox News. It's some other little nugget that's going to come out of nowhere and say, yeah, we're. As a matter of fact, the only one that can do this, now that I think about it, would be AI. An unbiased AI would be the only one that could take all the information and say, here's your news.
If it's used correctly, yeah.
Correct.
Right, if it's used correctly.
Well, talking about trusting and who not to trust, who to trust. Okay, you've got an Arizona Republican senator, state senator, Sonny Borrelli. He sent a letter to all 15 counties in the state saying that they should not use electronic voting equipment anymore. Now, he doesn't have the authority to do it, but he's got the ball rolling. The governor, Katie Hobbs, who won in a very, and I mean very controversial election where she approved her own winning in the state, because in the state of Arizona she could. She signed off on her winning despite several issues in heavily conservative Maricopa County, all of a sudden voting for this Democrat, which gave her the win over Carrie Lake.
Interesting.
Let me repeat, heavy conservative area, all of a sudden voting for this Democrat who they all couldn't stand. And there were voting irregularities. People were not allowed to vote, all kinds of massive issues. So she vetoed this bill back in April. But Borrelli is, of course, bashing her vote, saying she's playing political games. We need to do this by hand. We can't trust the electronic situation anymore. So what's going on right now is that you have this state senator trying to get this pushed forward. Will he be able to do it? I don't know, but the state legislature may or may not share the same view, but at least they're trying to get this done right now to not allow any electronic voting in the state of Arizona. Have we reached that point where we don't trust electronic voting anymore, especially with AI and what AI could do this, as we talked a little bit about in our first segment?
Keep electronics out of this garbage.
Well, and I agree with getting rid of that. However, what about the ballot stuffing? And it's not just the ballot stuffing. It's 3 days. The election stops. And for 3 days, they keep taking
I think the only
ballots.
way you save any of this election stuff, then there's only one way. And it just conjures up the thought of the Iraqis and the purple thumb.
Yeah,
it
does.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry. I hate to be but we are a polarized country. We don't trust each other. We just don't.
It's getting worse.
There's certain things the left says that I like. I can't even believe you have that. You're able to have that weird process in your brain. And they look at someone like me. I can't believe you have that process in your brain. That we just don't trust each other. That's all there is to it. No harm, no foul. But what I will say, I definitely don't trust you as a Democrat with election machines. No way. Sorry. And that's why Dominion is maybe going to go under as a company, because counties are really the ones that should be dealing with this.
Could we be so fortunate?
St. Charles County, Kansas City, Chesterfield. Your county needs to deal with this on a micro level. Correct?
Yes. And you have to really watch that,
right,
because it's happening all over. Our little county of St. Charles County had election fraud by our election judge, and it has been proven.
I know I heard about that, but I didn't.
Proven.
Really?
Yes. I've sat
even know
in
that.
all those meetings. And I'm sure it's not just here. It's all over the United States.
Well, this state senator, his big deal was the fact that now he sent this letter out and it was and of course it's party lines. Republicans voted for this, Democrats voted against it, was the fact that no machines that were designed, manufactured, or integrated and assembled outside of the United States, like we've heard people complain about Dominion,
Correct.
could ever be used in the state of Arizona. That sounds perfectly legitimate to me.
Yes.
If you're a Democrat, why would you want that? Do you like the cheating? Do you like the results of it? Do you really feel as if the governor could certify her own election? And then when it came to Kari Lake going after and putting those, quote, lawsuits in place, how does a judge in 3 seconds determine that over 270,000 votes were legitimate?
Yeah.
How does a judge do that in 3 seconds?
It doesn't happen.
That's what happened in court.
Mhm.
It's a farce. This is what happens when you have judges from a certain party in certain states backed by a certain governor who certified her own election and won with votes from a conservative county. And you don't think there's anything up with election integrity? Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Come on.
They always try to demonize you. It's like, so are you an election denier? I don't know what that means. Do you believe Joe Biden was president? He's in the Oval Office right now. I guess he is the president. But they try to demonize you into saying something like, yeah, I think the election was a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, it's like a congressman.
We're just trying to talk about facts.
I mean,
this has nothing to do with opinion.
I'll tell you what. Let me. I'm trying to make an example. Think of the most cognitive impaired Republican that you know, and I don't even know who it would be. Say it was Sarah Palin. Say it was Sarah Palin versus JFK, and Sarah Palin somehow won an election against JFK or Ronald Reagan. Some people,
Mitch McConnell, though. Mitch
McConnell. Some people might go, how in the hell did Mitch McConnell win against Ronald Reagan or JFK? And it would be like, you could not put the square peg in the round hole. It's like, it just doesn't make sense. Well, are you an election denier? I'm an election questioner at least. You know what I mean? And I think that's what people are doing is they're just trying to get their mind around it. And so they're going, okay. Maybe, okay, fine, Biden won. But we're going to make it so that people in this country go, there's no doubt about it. We counted all the ballots. Everything was on the up and up. There was not 1 million illegal aliens voting in New Mexico and Arizona to sway an election. And we're going to know about how using our election laws. And just to here's the deal. First step, get rid of the Dominion machines. If one side has a problem with the Dominion machines, no harm, no foul. Get rid of them.
The thing that
What's the problem?
It's great. The thing that really frustrated me about the whole Kari Lake situation from Arizona was and I'm telling you right now, I hope she is Donald Trump's vice presidential candidate. She's my number one.
Yeah,
she has been listed as one of his quote top 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
This woman is a badass, and she is proving she's a badass on a daily basis. The problem with this judge, liberal judge, which is unfortunate, and this is what happens. Democrats probably love it because they're not going to get into the education of actually what's happening. Break down the story always. You can't just look at headlines. Headlines are for losers. You've got to get to the story to truly understand. Anybody can toss around headlines like a drive-by shooting.
Yes.
It takes a lot more education
to go to minutia.
To go look at what actually, what's the full story with what happened? What led to this that led to this? What hasn't come out yet? I guarantee there's something else.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the Arizona Supreme Court refused to hear almost all of her appeal, of Kari Lake's appeal. They refused to do it, saying that there was no evidence to support her claim that more than 35,000 ballots were added to total votes. Yeah. Why not hear it? Really?
Exactly. That's even better.
The fact they're not hearing it tells you everything.
And overseeing everything, of course, Democrat candidate Katie Hobbs, who pulled off this crazy upset in a conservative county somehow, some way.
I would love to see a forensic breakdown of this whole thing. And it's not going to happen now. It'll happen 100 years from now. But there will come a day when they say, maybe they do and maybe they don't. The 2020 election was the first election that was somehow the teeter-totter was flipped over. And the thing about it that I learned is that doesn't take a lot of pushing to win a presidential election when you have the Electoral College. You do not have to move multi-million votes. It's just a few here and there in certain counties, and you win a state, and boom, before you know it, you just won a presidential election. And I'm not an expert on this, and I like to keep my sanity and not say that President Biden isn't the president. I like, that's how I like to live. I think he won the election fine. I can see why a lot of soccer moms didn't vote for Trump. I can see how a lot of millennials love TikTok, and they did a lot of campaigning on TikTok for Biden and Harris. And I see that it was probably a legitimate, personally, that's my personal opinion. But at the same time, if the zebras are coming out on the field and wearing the one team's colors, you do question the zebras a little bit sometimes.
Okay, so questioning the zebras. Okay, I'm on the other end. I absolutely think it was stolen. But there's probably just as many people like you, Eric, who think, okay, people did vote for him. People didn't like the tweets of Donald Trump and all that. But now what do we do? People like you that think it's not stolen. It's smart, though, because now all of you also are in the same camp as us. There is absolutely no way a Democrat is going to win again if it's Joe Biden. No way. No way.
Yes.
Well, he'll win only if there's cheating. Only if there's cheating.
Yeah.
He's not going to win.
See that,
No way.
but do you see the okay? Basically, you have this. The way I look at it, it's like this nice bowl of rice, right? It's just rice. It's an election.
Eric does not truly believe Joe Biden won fair and square. There's no way Eric.
Well, it's like this. It's like this. Fair and square is a relative term.
Exactly right.
Because I don't. Is ballot harvesting fair and square? Is recruiting every time they have an event, they're registering people to vote. Right. I mean, someone on the RNC sucks balls when it comes to getting their people rallied to go.
They do suck balls.
They do.
They hurt us because they do. They really hurt us. And what you're saying is right.
Yeah.
That if we don't stand up, we are going to lose again. Yeah. And I don't want to lose again because who in the hell can stand Joe Biden and all of his little lying little minions and Cammy and all of that?
I think that the next election is going to be they're going to look at Biden and Harris and go, not just no, but hell no. And they are going to be very concerned with what happens in this primary. And I'll tell you why. There's not one poll right now, not one, Vic, that has Trump beating Biden in the states that he needs to win.
No, that's not true.
It is very true.
By who's polling?
So they're not doing these major political type polling
I've got
right
different
now.
polling.
But you got DeSantis winning all over the place.
No, what?
Yes.
Eric.
I don't know what polls you're listening to or looking at. I'm telling you right now.
No.
Where? I'm going to find it.
Find them.
Because I just got called to the mat right now. But every time I see
I want to know about those because I hadn't seen those. But
I'm talking state to state. Georgia v. Trump v. Biden in Georgia. The last poll I saw had Trump at 43 and Biden at 47.
I believe that you found what you found.
DeSantis
I need to know
winning.
Who did the polling.
Well, I don't know. I mean, again, you're not going to have these political institutions doing multi-million-dollar polls right now. It's just it's a sample of 1,500 people or so. That's what it is.
Well, and the media right now is trying to kill DeSantis. Because they do want Trump to run. And there are a lot of people who like DeSantis too, but they think they can beat Trump easier. My opinion is they think they can cheat easier again with him as they can DeSantis.
Right.
That's what I think.
Well, speaking of polling, and this is by the Harvard-Harris poll. This is not a conservative polling group. The Harvard-Harris polling group, this came out last week. Of the registered voter respondents, 63%, including 83% of Republicans, and 65% of, let's just call them independents, believe that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, both of them, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, were both involved in illegal crime activity. This is a Harvard-Harris poll. This is not Fox or Newsmax.
But you're talking about a generalized nationwide polling.
This says I'm just giving a poll while we're waiting for you to pull up.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at a poll.
And a majority of 53% of the respondents do say that President Biden engaged in specific illegal influence peddling schemes. Will it matter Will it not matter? Also, the poll found that the vast majority of registered voters, 70%, have significant concerns about interference from the FBI and intelligence agencies in future presidential elections. Most Americans, according to this center to left poll, have a problem with the FBI and other intelligence agencies getting involved in elections starting with 2024.
Yeah.
That's scary stuff.
That is scary stuff. And it's discouraging, and it's hard to stay positive when you're saying stuff like that.
It's hard to stay positive, except for the stories that Vic tells about how the senator's trying to right the wrongs.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
you need little steps.
We do.
You can't. I've come to learn.
But it was, Eric, it was right down the middle. Every Republican in the state of Arizona voted for no electronic elections. Every Democrat voted for them. Does that not tell you something?
Then right there should tell you everything you need to know. We just did a huge service today. We figured something out. We actually figured something out. The Republicans want to play it straight up. The Democrats want to have their finger on some kind of a button, literally. Now, we don't know what that button actually does because only they know the secrets of their little button. But if you're going to play a game straight up, you're going to have referees that have no interest in the winner. That's the beauty of an election. When you have an election official, I don't give a damn who wins. My job isn't to tell you who's going to win. My job is to not put my thumb on the scale. My job is to sit here and make sure that my job was done so well that you don't even know I was here. The problem with Dominion is we all know it was there. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We have to, this next election, purple thumb, right in the bucket. You go on a Tuesday between the hours of 6 in the morning and 7 at night.
That's why I want a national day off for voting.
Yep. You put your
absolutely.
I've been all over that for years.
I'm not talking about a month. I'm not talking about it is a beautiful thing. It's a patriotic thing. It means if you need to be out of the country, let us know when you're going to be out of the country and then send your paperwork in. But it needs to be there a week before, not 2 weeks before, after, 1 week before. And then we all gather around on Tuesday night. And we all have parties. We have chips. We have salsa. We have margaritas. Whatever your cocktail is. We sit around
Pina coladas.
the pina coladas. We sit around
like pina. Okay.
We sit around the couch. We might get ourselves a nice little Swanson TV dinner or something.
Oh my God!
And you
they
watch
still make Swanson TV dinner,
and you get the election results. And at the morning, you are either going ding dong, the witch is dead, or you are saying, "Oh my God, another 4 years."
And that's where you know the cheating.
Guys.
They just kept extending it and extending it.
It would be great if we could do this. The problem is the secret invisible powers that be would never let us put our thumbs in paint.
Why?
Because there's a fight for this country. There's a world order that wants to take place. There are massively rich families trying to control the world.
I'm telling you what, I agree with you, Vic, but there's some stuff going on right now. If you got to look with a microscope and find it. But there is some stuff going on right now that makes you think people are waking up. Like the NAACP the other day tried to demonize Florida for being racist,
which we talked about yesterday.
Yet African Americans, it's the number one place to go to open a business and be successful. Number one.
Oh, it's interesting, isn't it?
And the NAACP president lives in Tampa.
Ding, 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 ding.
On exactly 5 days before DeSantis is running for president.
That's our hope is people are waking up.
People are waking up.
Well, I hope they're waking up. Here's the thing. People will show you who they are. People will show you who they are.
Eventually. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
don't try to make excuses. Don't try to put somebody in another situation. And when it comes to the whole voting situation, if there is anyone, and I mean any person, man, woman, whatever, man and woman, that is going to tell you that there should be voting without ID checks, you know exactly what you're dealing with.
Yeah, and another thing,
especially with the dirty activity that has happened in this country, and it could go both ways. It could be Republicans trying to cheat, right? Why not? Why? You have to have an ID to play Little League football, basketball, baseball, maybe soccer, I don't know, but the other ones I know, my kids
Get on a plane.
they had to have an ID as kids before they could even play in their sports leagues. You better freaking believe you better have an ID to vote. So remember, if anybody ever tries to lie and, oh, that's racist, now you know they just gave you a look into their heart, their brain, and their soul and what they're about. They're about cheating. And you know that they're not an honest person.
I always think it's so disrespectful. First of all, Drew, if Drew's still here, I just speak.
Oh, he's there. He's there.
Drew, I always
he
think
doesn't want an ID.
Well, of course, he's Democrat Drew.
It's
because he know he'll lose every election.
Drew. It's so disrespectful to African Americans or minorities to think that you're so stupid.
Yes.
That you can't have a voter ID to go vote because my people are too stupid to get it. It is ridiculous.
Exactly right.
It's disrespectful.
It's racist.
It's shameful. It's racist.
Yes.
I mean, Drew, what Vic said, just to get on an airplane, to go through TSA, you better show a picture ID and it better see that it's you, an American citizen. Okay, there you are, American citizen. Boom, get on the plane. If you don't have one, sorry, you can't get on the plane. Here's my voter's ID. It's in the same pocket that I got my Social Security card. Here's my voter's ID. Thank you, sir. Bye. How about this? You get a voter's ID and you can go vote anywhere in the country. You don't have to be in your backyard county. You don't even have to register in your county anymore. You have one thing, you scan it, you scan the ID and it says, there's your one vote. Bye. Don't forget to write. There's no ballot harvesting. You show up to your whatever school it is that morning. They give you a donut. Here's a cup of coffee. Have a nice day. I voted sticker on your lapel.
Well, and you know what you were talking about, the racist. Yesterday, for the first time ever, my daughter came home and she said, I was called racist at school yesterday because
When was this?
Yesterday. And she goes to a Lutheran school and it's a great school.
Called racist? Okay.
Yes. And so this boy came up to her because she actually was better at an activity than he was. So he walked right up to her and called her a racist.
Yeah.
Now he is black and she's white. And they're very good friends. And she looked at him and she said, if you ever say that to me again, bye, Felicia. You know my family.
She's an 8th grader.
You know, you know how multicultural we are. And so that'll just show you he lost something. So he flat out called her a racist. And she looked at him and said, you can call me a lot of things, but that's one thing you can't call me, Buster, and walked away.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of this people moving away from each other thing is a tragedy.
It is a tragedy.
And it's because of our government. It's because of our media. Our government is because of our entertainment sector, and it really hurts people.
It's social media.
It hurts a lot of people. But you know what? For people to actually move away from a situation, they want a nice life. They say, I have 70 years on this planet. And I just want a nice life and I'm sick of it. And I think that a lot of people are getting to that stage right now where they don't want to be separated. There is no racism. It's a manufactured problem. Drew Collins will manufacture this problem till the day he dies. But it's not his fault.
It
is his fault because he perpetrates it.
He was educated by people like this. He was
What does that mean?
He was indoctrinated by messages.
Drew Collins was indoctrinated?
By messages of hate, of race, of take the easy way out, entitlement.
I do too.
I feel sorry for
but he's not alone. He's not alone.
But I feel sorry for them too. I feel sorry for them all because you can make it. Tim Scott.
If you're taught to take the easy road all the time, you're going to take the easy road all the time.
I guess
you're going to take that low hanging fruit because it's
what's
easy.
The low hanging fruit?
You're going to take
what is it?
You know what it is? It's the
just
race.
Like what happened
baiting.
to my daughter.
It's
just
the race
easy
issues.
way.
It's the color issues. It's the give me this. I need reparations. My life is bad. It's not fair. Those sorts of issues. That's why. But. We love him. That's why we allow him on the show.
I feel sorry for him. I'm like, I can't wrap because when I leave here, I leave politics behind. I might watch it a little bit during the day. I feel like my political stance is just common sense. It's like, so this is common sense. Why aren't we doing the common sense stuff? Okay, I gotta go practice my guitar. These people like Drew, they live this social garbage. This race baiting, it's like a lifestyle to these people. And I'm like, why don't you just chill out and get a margarita, go to Florida, go hang out at the Villages for a week and decompress.
Eric, we all want to be more like you. We do. We tell you that. Yes, we do.
I'm not promoting me. Trust me.
No,
on that.
We want to be.
I'm not promoting. Trust me. I do not have a PDF on how to live a better life. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just like, why are you guys so crazy?
Well,
why don't you just build an election system that everybody goes, yeah, that worked for everybody?
Well, I mean, it goes into
common sense, right?
Well,
Joe?
This is Cancel This. It's cancelthisshow.com, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. live, and all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. I continue to have more people tell me, hey, I listened to you guys on podcasts. I was like, fantastic. That's great. We love it. Continue to support us when you're listening as well. This issue kind of gets into something else that's happening. You'll have Democrats and people say, well, crime's everywhere. Yeah, crime's everywhere, but it is more centrally located in the blue cities.
Come on.
Well, I mean, a case in point in the St. Louis area, you had a crime situation yesterday. A guy killed another person, shot a 13-year-old. It's tragic. And it happens in St. Charles County, a conservative county. But guess what? These happen, but they're isolated incidents. Where did the majority of these things happen? They happen in the blue, democratically held cities, unfortunately, African-American cities. And it's not right, and it sucks, and it's terrible that it's happening. But, we have an issue coming up. Is this going to be something that happens with all cities across the country? The St. Louis Cardinals owner, Bill DeWitt, says they're putting extra security in around Busch Stadium now because they said we're not going to allow what happened last weekend. It was a terrible weekend of violence in downtown St. Louis with thefts and carjackings and everything St. Louis has been known to be about these days. Number one most dangerous city in America, said we're not going to sit back, and said that they have, quote, some undercover / secret policing going on now that they're putting into place to make sure the Cardinal fans understand. He said, quote, too much has been invested. Too many people have invested money downtown for us to sit back and allow it to happen.
Amen.
Eric called for this, and we're going to see where this goes, what happens. They won't tell us what's going on, but the sad thing is that the people who are policing in St. Louis City, we commend you for what you do. We know you don't have the resources. We know you don't have a full staff. And it's unfortunate because of what happened with the previous circuit attorney. We'll see if the new one can clean up in time, but it's going to take time to do that. Then, of course, the mayor. But now you have DeWitt coming out and saying this and nothing from the mayor. So will owners step up and take charge of what's happening in their cities now?
Maybe, but the Cardinals are a different breed. The Cardinals are a legacy team, unlike a lot of the. I mean,
well, no, very few people will go to St. Louis without the Cardinals, and of course the Blues.
Yes,
and of course now soccer.
Well, I don't know the Blues give too much of a damn. I've never heard them talk about it much, but I know the Cardinals. So the lifestyle of a Cardinal fan is you get out of your car in a parking garage quite a ways away sometime, and you have to walk probably a good 3, 4, 5 blocks sometime. That's the lifestyle of a Cardinal fan. At 11 o'clock at night, when they've just shut down the ballpark and you're walking home and you feel like you're going to get jacked up, that's what DeWitt's talking about. He's like, my fans won't come down here anymore. And instead of having 40,000 people in the stands on a Saturday, I'll have 15,000 because the crime is so bad.
Correct.
Maybe not this year, but if it keeps going, you see, he knows what a trend is. So what is DeWitt going to do? Is he going to have
They're talking about the ideas
detail
right now. Security guards outside Busch Stadium, uniformed and ununiformed. And of course, we already know this. Police are a deterrent. Even our friend, Democrat, hardcore Democrat, African-American, Ty Dennis says, quote, there is no deterrent like police officers walking around. There is no deterrent like police cars being shown. They are the deterrent. And he is a Democrat. So get with the program if you say that police are bad and they just have bad intentions.
And what I've heard that the mayor is staying quiet, but supposedly she had a meeting with all the aldermen.
Yeah.
And the aldermen in each area, it's up to them how much policing they want. And if they want policing in there, so it depends on where you live.
Well, the aldermen are mostly turning progressive in the city of St. Louis. That's
correct.
So why doesn't Parson just take over already?
Well, that could be another situation that comes in.
I mean, this new prosecutor, I have no idea his political stripe. But if this guy,
he's a Democrat.
If this guy means business and he's going to come in here and clean up the mess and he does a good job and it was because Parson put this guy in, let's see what you can do with the cops.
Well, the best quote that we heard from DeWitt, at least in my humble opinion, here it is. 5 words. Failure is not an option. I repeat, failure is not an option. Wouldn't it be great if we heard the mayor of St. Louis say that? Wouldn't it be great if we heard the circuit attorney say that? Failure is not an option for safety. Not we're going to reimagine policing, but failure is not an option.
Have you ever noticed with Tashara and Lyda Crewson before her, two mayors, if you see them on a press conference, they look like they have the fear in their eyes.
I think they do.
Do you know what I'm
fear.
talking
Yes,
about?
I do.
I challenge you to look at
You
it.
might have that same fear if you were in that position.
But I challenge you to look at a news conference.
Like, oh, crap.
It's kind of
Good
like,
job.
I don't really know what I'm doing here,
Yes,
kind of
yes.
a look.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you need someone with some confidence, some balls to be the mayor of St. Louis for at least a generation.
That's the second balls reference today.
Yeah. And that
I'm
it does
talking about
take a lot of
tennis
balls, and I'm
balls.
not sure Tashara Jones has balls.
I'm talking about tennis balls.
I hope not.
Pickleball.
Well, she really doesn't have balls, but I mean, that kind of balls.
Considering all the other
I'm
conversations.
talking about pickleballs. I'm talking about
Well, nobody's going to play pickleball in the city
it
either.
could help. It could help.
Pickleball.
It could help.
There is pickleball in the city,
Caw-caw.
and people play there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
I think Tashara has got an opportunity,
She
and I will
sure
let you
does.
know in 12 months if she screwed it up or not.
Well, I have a feeling that when you have investors, as Bill DeWitt says, quote, we've got people so invested in downtown, this type of event,
Yes,
talking
they
about
do.
crime, reiterates our commitment to say that we've got to fix the problems that we have. That's because Katie's Pizzeria went this beautiful place, terrific place. I haven't been in there, the new place, but I've been told it's amazing. Expanding downtown, being a part of Ballpark Village.
Yeah.
So he was
It's
there
gorgeous.
for that. I mean, somebody trying to do something in the city that's great, that's had success in the county. And he's there for the ribbon cutting ceremony is when he spoke about this. And it's so important because this is quote, it's so important because crime is also a perception issue. Do you think you got to teach Tashara that? You didn't teach the situation to Kim Gardner. She ended up quitting. And then now it's unfortunate. Now this is more of a national level, but now you have St. Louis Congresswoman Cori Bush opposing resolution.
Who cares about Cori Bush?
Well, to honor police officers who were killed in the line of duty.
Screw her. She's
That's a big
moron.
big freaking. Yeah, I know it is.
Okay.
But
anyone
there's-
that doesn't believe in the blue anymore, you're a moron.
Yeah, but
let's start.
but
Let's just
Eric,
start cutting the chaff.
But that's what happens. So
Enough. Enough.
Ainley. So, I mean, you have, and then from the article, Katie Collier, who is the owner of Katie's Pizza, says, I think it's more important to be here during that time and more important to invest during this time and not to abandon our city. We don't want to do that. Now, that's very admirable of her to put her time, money, efforts into the city of St. Louis and Ballpark Village. But she's going to need help. And that's where the DeWitts come into the equation and St. Louis City Police. Because how are we really expecting St. Louis City's police department to get the help that they need when there's no money to bring people in? When there's
That's why you call
factor?
up Parson right now and you give him a nice little Superman jersey and he comes into St. Louis and he has a bat and we have like 14 bat signals all over the place.
Actually, he needs a John Deere to ride around the streets.
Well, I will
Yeah,
say
he
this.
does.
I will say this. It would be an interesting social experiment, wouldn't it? If we had a no cash bail. What if we had a no cash? What if we just said there is no bail, period? You get busted in St. Louis during an emergency situation. If you get busted on a crime that's a felony, let's say carjacking, let's say murder, because we've seen a few murders in St. Louis, haven't we?
Yeah, we
Let's
have.
say panhandling's a misdemeanor. No, we're not going to put you in jail for that. But let's say anything that is violent, anything that is going to keep constituency from coming to St. How about this? There is no bail. There's no bail.
That's what they should
And
do.
now we can move back to talking about something like cupcakes because let's try that experiment for what was this 2 years that we tried the no bit cash bail thing. Let's try this one for 2 years. Let's see what side of the equation the city falls on. Are you going to have more crime? Are you going to have less crime? Okay, you're probably going to have less crime, right? Isn't that the goal of a prosecutor and a chief of police and a mayor of a city? Shouldn't those three things be working
100%.
together? And you tell the courts there's no bail. If this guy is busted beating up someone downtown, They're not getting out of jail. Sorry.
Period.
I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're black. Don't care if you're a Latino. Don't care if you're Latinx. Don't care if you're Chinese. If you smash a window and you pull someone out and you hijack their car,
You're going away.
The bail
Period.
bondsmen are out of business.
It's going to take something like that. It really is, because you have to send the message. And right now there is no message being sent, but we're going to continue.
No, it's just an experiment. You guys experimented with and not so much St. Louis. I don't think St. Louis was as bad as New York, but the places that have the no cash bail, they're burning. You have no choice anymore. There's certain things. Chicago, the Miracle Mile is the tragic mile now. It is bad.
Oh, absolutely.
Boarded up windows all over the place. St. Louis is boarded up windows all over the place. It was a hub of goodness. We used to go down there all the time. What was it? City Center Mall or something like that? What was that? The mall that they used to have down there? I can't even remember what it was, but it was thriving. I'm telling you right now, 2 years of if you commit a felony, you go to jail. You stay there until your court date.
Eric, I couldn't agree with you anymore. We're going to continue to follow that story. We had one more topic we were going to get into today, and we have to do this because what the hell is going on? I repeat, what the hell is going on? And I repeat, what the hell is going on? This is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Eric Johnson. Tabitha's off today. Lizzie Sparks is here. Pro Joe running the boards. Okay. Karen Gibson is the Sergeant at Arms of the United States Senate, and she's a retired military intelligence officer. She's very connected. She's very decorated. She has had an illustrious career. Why is she saying and doing this? Last month, she told the Senate Appropriations Committee that satellite communication will, quote, ensure a redundant and secure means of communication during a disruptive event, adding that phones will support security measures during an emergency that takes out communications in the United States.
What?
Why and what is going on? Last month, she told the Appropriations Committee in the Senate that satellite communication will ensure a redundant and secure means of communication during a disruptive event, adding that phones will support security measures during an emergency that takes out all communications.
But our phones stay on? Is that what she's saying? But everything else goes down? Is that what she's saying? I mean, I mean, maybe I'm hearing it wrong. So
Well,
kind of
I think
What the hell is going on?
right. What is that? So everything's going to go down, and we need to be prepared for that. So have our phones ready? Is
Okay.
that what she's saying?
So-
I mean, I know a lot of stuff is going on.
So was this a private meeting or was this on some kind of a public?
I don't know.
We got to find that out, because if it was public, then it's not so nefarious.
I would agree with that. 'Cause
If
then
it was
it's
private,
just
then
another
it is.
virtue signaling
Yeah.
distraction.
Correct. So we have to find out if it
Yes.
was, if C-SPAN was there, there's nothing to worry about.
You know, that's a good point. That is really a good point. If C-SPAN or any
Yeah.
of them, even
Really?
C-SPAN,
Yeah.
where people think is neutral. But I agree with you these days. If C-SPAN is there,
Mhm.
there's nothing to worry
Yeah.
about. They're telling us what we are supposed to
Yeah.
hear, not what's really
Correct.
happening.
Yeah. But if this came out of
Exactly.
some weird back room private meeting that was recorded or something like that, then all of a sudden,
captured. Yes.
then all of a sudden this falls into the FBI debacle. It's like this
Correct.
it's like this back office dealings with the deep state kind of thing. So that's what we got to find out for real. So that's an interesting story, that we're going to have this magnetic pulse that blows everything out of space or whatever it is.
Yes.
It makes
Who
me
knows
think
how that even
about
works?
what kind of event could happen. What would happen
Well, the
if
Chinese
what
are
could
getting
be
into the
Now-
Chinese are getting into are militarizing space
now it's
apparently.
Correct. And getting into all of our social media
Correct.
and all of that. We know
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah, taking out satellites.
Terry says phones like landlines, because if towers go down, phones go down.
You know what? And I wonder
This is
now,
about satellite phones, having
Yes.
satellite phones so that you don't get caught with regular phones that we're using if something goes.
And I don't know about this because I didn't know cell
And-
phones had I thought cell
and
phones
one
were
other thing,
towers.
Paul says that this committee, they gave out 50 satellite phones to the senators.
okay.
Todd says it could be tracking us even more, but every senator now has a satellite phone.
Hmm.
I'm saying, like, what the? It just
That's purposeful,
something
too. They want to
doesn't.
know where they're at all times.
Something doesn't add up to me.
None of this is adding up. None of it. But it is nefarious because it doesn't add up, and we're going to have to, put the dots together. There's something going on. I don't want to change the subject, but it goes with this. You see all of these little tidbits of news or TikToks or whatever about fertilizer disappearing and this
I just saw that too yesterday.
That happening. So what are they doing?
But we don't have proof of that,
No,
do we?
no. It's just people are saying it. That's why.
No. I think the proof was that there was a train of fertilizer, and they don't know where it is anymore.
And they don't know where it is.
It's just disappeared.
I mean, that may not be nefarious, but come on, something is
it's in the field.
on.
That could be used as a bomb.
Yeah.
Massive, just so you understand, that was the backdrop.
60,000 pounds, right?
Yes.
Paul says 50 of the 100 senators were given satellite phones because of this whole situation. Now, is it just looking forward, trying to be safe if something does happen? Okay, maybe that's going on. Or does it mean, something's coming our way?
Yeah.
Here are the satellite phones so that you can have some sort of communication because it's coming.
Correct.
Is it the alien?
Well, where is the Republican?
Is it the aliens?
Where's the Republican? Where's the Ted Cruz's of the world that are saying, excuse me, point of order?
He's down at the border right now yelling at people, but the border's still open. So that's what Ted Cruz is
I don't know. It seems like we don't ask the pertinent questions in these meetings.
Right. Well, that's on purpose because they don't really want the answer, or they know it, but they don't want us to know it.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to have the pertinent questions asked one time. It's like, stop the meeting. Okay, explain to me what it is you're talking about with this satellite debacle.
Remember,
then we would know.
Yeah, remember when we put our kids or ourselves in the tornado drill stands and earthquake drills, and we believed, at least I did, the government was going to keep us safe. Now I'm like, okay, what is the CDC up to, and what all of this is?
Yeah.
With these phones and all that, what are they doing? There's something not right here, for sure.
I think
that they were offered to all 100 senators. 50 accepted them.
Republican or Democrat?
And I don't know. It doesn't.
Okay,
the article does not say, but it does speak to the fact that this is just in case of a massive emergency. And they're part of a series of new security measures being offered to senators by the Senate Sergeant at Arms.
My guess is they're all
who took
Democrats.
over right after the assault.
Or it's a way to
January
track
6th.
all of our
Oh, well, then there you go. Of course, it's Democrats. And if all of them take it, you can't get any Republicans on the same page.
No.
So if 50 people took it, it's Democrats. And if it's dealing with J6 at all, you know what that is. And then they're gearing up again for another, quote, J6 to put more patriots away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Well,
all
the phones
part
are
and parcel.
so that, quote, senators can speak with each other if a man-made disaster occurs. So it's interesting to see who has phones, who's going to be talking to one another if one of these things were to occur. Once again, it's very, very interesting to see what's going on.
But at the same time, don't let it keep you up at night.
No, I agree.
Because we have been surrounded by all kinds of weirdness, and for the last 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer than that never pans out to be anything.
That is true too, because
Never
it's all
pans out.
distractions for what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I don't lay awake at night about those things. I think about it in the waking hours, but at night, I as a Christian, I think God's got all this anyway.
Yeah.
And the things I can't do anything
Eventually.
about, I give it to him. You're right, eventually. But he also gave us free will.
Well, just for your sanity. I mean, just to get to the grave and be happy, because we're all going there one way or another.
Yeah, well, we need
I always look at that. I was like, I always look at the happiest people I know, and it's unfortunate they don't get into politics. They hang out at the beach. They listen to Jimmy Buffett albums usually, and they're just happy, and they don't worry
it's
about it.
It's a nice deal, but it's also the frog in the boiling pot as well, Eric.
No doubt, and that's why
I'm just going to stick my head in the sand. Yeah, and
that's why you should tip us well every day. We're the frog in the pot.
And then next thing you know, somebody's sticking a gun in your chest and going, "Okay, give me your wife, give me your money, bye."
Here's the wife for sure.
Yeah,
can I keep my money?
Everything is just wonderful.
I tell you what, you can have the wife. I'll take the money.
Aaron calls it blissful ignorance.
And I envy
It's a great way to
them.
live, though.
Yeah, but
I
let me.
envy
Okay,
them.
hold up. Let's just say, and this is the experiment you have to play with yourself. Let's say
Play
you
with
had,
yourself.
yeah,
But yeah.
that didn't come out right.
Glad you didn't say balls at the same time.
Lizzie.
Well, that's the
Lizzie,
name
very
of the
nice.
day.
Very nice. All right. Let's say this. Let's say you came out of the 80s. And let's say you didn't have a phone, you didn't have a TV, but you had a backyard beach, you had an acoustic guitar, you had a dog that you loved, maybe a few dogs, and you didn't hear about any of this political garbage since 1985. That was the last time you heard. And back then you didn't even care. Would you not be the most blissfully happy person on the planet? Don't you think you wouldn't need any kind of Prozac? Adderall you wouldn't need any Adderall. You wouldn't need coffee in the morning.
Pharmabed.
Right.
Yes.
You wouldn't have high blood pressure.
Correct.
Think about that for a second before you get involved in this weird world of dominion and satellites and a crappy government. And you don't even own a car. And so, the potholes don't even bother you. I mean, think
Right?
about that for
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah.
And then you step back and you go, my God, people like Tabitha are so invested in this thing. I always wonder.
Because she's knowledgeable and studies it.
I know. And people are fascinated by it. And I'm the kind of person I hope that in 2024, I hope whenever the new president comes in, we are able to quit this show.
We're going to have a new president.
Well, whatever. I hope we're able to quit this show because the government became so boring, so trustworthy. And Lester Holt retired, and a new group of AI, anchors came in that we can all trust, and that we can
AI anchors.
Yeah,
We can
AI
trust.
anchors, because you can't trust any human anchors. That's for damn sure. I thought forever you could trust Elliot Davis. Who knew you couldn't? My God, my world was blown apart.
Aaron Bland says, as a reminder, even Solomon, who is considered to be the most knowledgeable person from scriptural times, says, with knowledge comes much sorrow.
And there you go.
Who said this? Who
There
said
you
this?
go.
Bindi?
Aaron Bland.
No. Bindi says balance, informed but not obsessed. I don't think you can do that anymore. If you're informed,
yeah, that is
you know
a
what I
gray
mean?
area.
Yeah,
It is.
If you're informed and you go, well, if this is true, this is how it would affect my life, then that domino just falls over and it just keeps going.
Yeah, because then you're like, what the truck?
Yeah,
What?
and it keeps
Exactly.
creeping in.
What? What the hell's going on?
It keeps, but I agree with her. You got to try to leave here, take a little break, either go to your job
don't
or
have
do
to have an
whatever,
ID to
sit
vote.
by the pool with a pina colada and then get back in it. But you have to have at least take an hour.
Are you a pina? You keep bringing up pina
Because,
coladas.
yes, I love it.
Is that your
one.
favorite drink?
Well, that and strawberry daiquiris. Anything frozen.
Yeah.
Anything frozen.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anything that you can drink in a pool in Punta Cana.
Right? There you go.
There you go,
Punta
babe.
Cana
That might
is
be the
great.
Yeah.
I do.
I think we need a trip. You know what? Let's do the show from Punta
No,
Cana.
trust me. I've said this recently.
Let's do it.
I've never taken a vacation where it was just by myself ever.
Really?
Well, you know,
Ever.
my friend, he owns a house in Alabama and he listens to our show
Mhm.
in Gulf Shores. And he said, we can do the show from his house.
I think it'd be a great idea.
Let's do it.
Joe, is that possible?
Yes,
It
Joe.
totally is.
Yeah. We could do the show from Gulf Shores and we
Well, I've got a contact in Cancun. I've got a
Oh, any
contact
of
in
those
Puerto
places.
Rico.
You need a week just by yourself.
I've said this.
And you can
or-
take Will
or without
Lackey
my
with you.
kids.
You
Or
can
my
take Will
Oh my
Lackey with
God.
you.
Would I be the babysitter?
Yeah.
I've been babysitting kids on trips for years. I was like, I think I need a week just to
He
get away.
the problem with Will is he wears his black socks under a palm tree while he's doing work. That would-
Does he wear anything else?
and flip flops, and it's embarrassing. But just stay away from him.
just stay away from them. Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you bring that up?
Well-
the black socks wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for his pasty white skin. The contrast is just wicked. Anyway, back to
Hey,
COVID.
by the way, you can participate in our billboard campaign as well and win a free gift. There it is. We're in the Lou. Be the first person to find each of the billboards. Let us know on our social media when you see it, what time, where it was. You can win a gift bag of our pixie dust seasoning, our summer sizzler grill. It is you get charcoal, you get some of our Rockwood charcoal in there. Jonathan Heslop's amazing product, a Winty's gift card. What else did we have included in there? We had something else included. I don't have the sheet in front of me. I just want to remind people. We do have that billboard campaign going right now. Please check out all of our partners as well at canceltheshow.com. Let them know when you use them that you know about them from canceltheshow.com. We appreciate you guys. Joe says you guys should go to Puerto Rico. Yeah, my friend John Driscoll is back now. He took his business to Puerto Rico. We had him back on the edge to talk about personal injury, and he says that's the place to be.
Yeah, that's all the place to be.
He says he has a part owner in a professional basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
He says the funny part is his team plays Yachty's team.
Oh, really?
Because his neighbor's Yachty.
Oh,
and Ricky
wow.
Martin and the Paul brothers. It's very interesting. They're all
Well, maybe he'll
Puerto
let us do the
Rico.
show from there.
Well, yeah.
House. Let's say,
Have you ever sat at home plate at Busch Stadium?
What do you mean?
Have you ever
played Busch Stadium?
stood at home plate at Busch Stadium?
the home plate?
I did
on
one
a tour
well,
one time
for some media, and then at a concert.
Don't you think you could put a ball out of there?
I don't know. Yeah, if it was the right fastball, maybe.
Just throwing the ball up in the air and hitting it over the thing. Don't you feel like you could do it seems like it would be so easy to do, but it's not.
And we appreciate everybody watching us and listening to us, liking, subscribing, sharing, donations. Everything helps. We're grateful for you guys. And of course, we'll continue to do the shows.
Maybe with a Super Ball and a wiffle ball bat. That thing would fly.
Golf ball.
The golf ball.
There you go.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, that'd be so much fun. Let's go.
That's the fun part.
Call DeWitt.
We've got our Weed Wednesday tomorrow promoting Green Lights, new location of Rock Hill. Can't wait for that segment. Also, by the way, I'm picking up the sample packs today.
Nice.
I've got that going by to see them.
So do we have to be prepared for tomorrow or Friday?
Friday. I'm picking up
Friday.
The sample pack
Don't.
today.
Oh, wait a minute. I can't do Friday.
Well, what day can you do it?
Because I'm playing that night.
What about
at the Lake of
Thursday
the
then?
Ozark. I can't be jacked up in the
Can
morning.
you be jacked up on Thursday?
Huh? I could be jacked
Well, no,
up.
we're going to
on
give
Thursday.
you a sativa, which is the energy.
but I don't know how that's going to affect my system.
Well, then let's change. it
I'm
to
I'm a
Thursday.
virgin when it comes to that stuff. I'm virgin.
Somehow,
Me
I don't
too. I
believe
am
that.
too.
I'm
No,
virgin.
people said that to me.
You mean
They
I've
know
done
I
2
know you,
gummies
Eric,
and I'm not the virgin
and they're like,
around here?
Eric has so done gummies.
No, I haven't.
I'm like, he hasn't. I
haven't
haven't
smoked
either.
pot. Last time I smoked pot, I was like 13 years old. My next door neighbor had it, and I was crying in the bathtub 30 minutes later.
I have never smoked pot ever or taken.
I
All
couldn't
right,
figure out what
Bendy,
I
thank
did
you
to
for getting
myself.
your appointment with Complete Auto. Make sure that they know that. Let them know. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Bendy says one other thing that we need to take account of: the WHO, UN, and WEF, World Economic Forum, all met to discuss universal health care. Pay attention, people. Pay attention to what's to come in 2024. Yeah, I don't know.
Universal health care. I could do a whole show on how to fix the problem.
Yeah,
Not now, I won't.
And Aaron says, yeah, Vic sat at home plate with Chris that one time at the baseball game.
That's right. That was an interesting evening. Every time I was at Cyberg's that night eating a hamburger, every time I looked at the TV, there you guys were.
Yeah. Anyway, that was fun night. It was only 105 degrees. Soaking wet, watching Cardinals baseball.
Next to Chris. Oh my God.
Guys, enjoy the day. That does it for this episode of CancelThisShow.com for our May 23rd edition. Have an awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow.